Whenever I see the top of the line single fan GPU, I have the urge to grab one myself, so here we are, looking at the colorful iGame RTX 5070 Mini. They have two colors for this card, black and white. The black card was out first, so that's why I got it, but if I could choose, I would have gone with the white version. But it is still a nice looking card. This card is only available in China marketplace, so in order to get the card, I had to buy it on Taobao via Superbuy. With all the costs involved, it costed me over $900, still less than what I paid for the MSI RTX 3060 Ti Mini. And hey, it comes with a 4090 performance. This card package is one of the most compact I've seen. This means if you travel and want to take the card out of the system, you can save a lot of space for your travel luggage by reusing the box. Inside, we have a quick guide and some random warranty papers, and underneath is the smallest RTX 5070. This is the first time I have seen a GPU coming without an anti-static bag. Here is some quick information of the card. Its measurements are 180mm in length, 123mm in height, and its thickness is 40mm. The base clock is 2325 MHz and the boost clock is 2557 MHz. Unlike other single fan cards which usually have max TDP at 200 watts, the 5070 is 250 watts. So colorful needs to have a very good cooling solution while keeping the card compact. First is the shroud. I really dislike the shroud design of the Zephyr RTX 4070 Mini, which completely chokes the card. Once I swap it out for the MSI 3060 Ti heatsink, which is more open, the temperature dropped by more than 15 degrees. For the iGame 5070 Mini, we fortunately have the cutout at the top of the card. The mounting bracket is very open to help exhaust hot air as much as possible. The fan can also push the hot air to the front of the case, but for cases that can only support single fan GPU, I expect the front panel to block it off. This card also uses flow-through design, but if it is used in a sandwich case, most of the hot air will be blasted at the rear of the motherboard. Finally, the bottom of the card is blocked completely. This is quite unfortunate because my MI6 case has a space for a 92mm fan, which I can use as an exhaust to help pull the hot air generated by the card from the bottom. However, this card thermal solution can still pack a punch. First of all, its shroud and the backplate are made of metal, so they can soak up the heat themselves. Next, we can see the fins next to the fan and they are part of the heatsink, and this allows the heatsink to be a bit thicker while still keeping the card's thickness at 2 slots. Through the fan hole, I can see the PCB, but I can't see anything through the sticked out fins. I think they added the blockage so that it kept the hot air from escaping and getting recirculated through the fan. Colorful is also confident of their heatsink design that this card can be passively cooled, which means the fan does not spin until the card reaches a certain temperature. The last time I owned a single fan GPU with passive mode was the Gigabyte RTX 2070, which was 3 generations ago. For benchmark, I tested the card with Resident Evil Requiem. I am not a fan of the survival horror genre, but I have the game for free, so let's test it. I have the game set to run at 1440p resolution and ray tracing was enabled at high. Hair strains option was turned on. This reminds me of Hairworks back in the day, which affected performance a lot. Texture quality was maxed out while texture filtering was set to X8. You can go to X16 but I feel it is not visually noticeable. I disable anti-aliasing as I prefer my game looking sharp. Speaking about sharpness, enabling DLSS at 1440p made it blurry, so I turned it off and ran the game at native resolution. Turning on frame generation is required to play it above 60 fps. 2x was enough for me, but if you need the 4090 performance, you can set it to 3x, 4x for more fake frames. Shadow quality was set to high and contact shadows were enabled. Finally, ambient occlusion was also set to high, and those were my graphics settings for Resident Evil Requiem. Here's the game running at its stock voltage. With 2x frame gen, the FPS was around 97 to 100 FPS or even higher. The temperature on my test bench is 74 to 76 degrees, which is okay for a card this size, but it is very impressive. As you can see, it consumes around 250 watts. I am curious of its hotspot temperature, but Nvidia removed it. The effective clock speed is 2844 MHz and the memory temperature is changing between 70 and 72 degrees. I undervolted the card by setting the clock speed to 2962 MHz at 295 mV. The FPS dropped to 87 or 90 and the highest I could see was 95, so we lost around 10% of the stock performance. The effective clock speed was down to 2725 MHz, which was reduced by 120 MHz. However, the temperature was at most around 67 to 68, which was very good. The card also consumed only 165 watts, and for me, trading the unnoticeable change in performance for the reduction in temperature was totally worth it. I have been using this card for a month and the thing I enjoyed most was the 0 decibel mode. For a single fan card, having the GPU fan stay silent while I was recording voice, surfing the internet, watching videos is really beneficial, which you usually get this from a beefier card. In the next video, I will install this GPU in an ITX case, so stay tuned. If you need to get a card, I have the link to purchase on Superbuy in the description. Unrelated, but I finally found a proper solution to support my graphic cards instead of using a piece of cardboard for years. I bought this tiny height adjustable magnetic GPU support on AliExpress and it is such a game changer. You can put it underneath the graphic card for vertical position or prevent the card from getting sagged in the horizontal position. Its small size would be great inside an ITX case. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.